name is Ken Goldberg, Professor of Engineering and Information at UC Berkeley. I've been here for 12 years. I do a lot of things. I teach classes, I run a lab, but my main job is to make people think. I think in all my work I'm interested in the intersection of technology with the natural world. I'm always trying to understand and wrestle with this question of how do we as humans confront machines. Security cameras are universal nowadays, and you don't really notice it. Moore's law means basically that computers are getting faster and faster and smaller over time at a very rapid pace. So the price is dropping, the resolution, the power of these cameras is increasing. The other thing that's happened is since 9/11, there's been a whole new interest in security. So there's a big market for security cameras. In 2004 was the 40th anniversary of the free speech movement here at Berkeley, where there was a huge student protest against encroachment of their rights. In 2004, we had a whole other set of free speech questions being raised. So we put a camera in Sproul Plaza. And the idea was that anyone from anywhere in the world could zoom in over the net and take photos at high resolution of people walking around campus. Turned out we wanted this to be controversial, but it was even more controversial than we expected. So there was a big issue around privacy. That was where the issue really came to a head, legally, about whether or not it was even legal to have such a camera. There are now increasing numbers of high-resolution cameras being installed, and you are being watched almost everywhere you go. So you look in London, they say that you are videotaped by 200 cameras a day. So between that, cell phone cameras, networked cameras, there's an explosion of cameras. And we estimate that there will soon be 1 billion megapixel cameras out there, which amounts to a petapixel world that we're living in. Google Earth is meant to map environments and just go around and take pictures, but you never know what you're going to come across. You don't set out necessarily to be a peeping Tom or to exploit people's privacy, but it can happen sort of almost by accident. What we're seeing now is that there's a generational difference in attitude about privacy. A lot of undergrads don't care. They've given up on it. So they're used to having camera phones, pictures taken of them in all kinds of situations, posted on Flickr, and they just don't care. And we started thinking about, well, could we use a technology to actually provide some privacy? Can we think of a way to essentially modify the power of a camera? You want to be able to see what people are doing, but you don't necessarily need to know their identity. Unless, of course, they do something criminal, and then you need to be able to reveal them. But for most of the time, if you can watch what people are doing but not know who they are, then in a way you kind of satisfy both. You get the security, but you also have privacy. We're here at the Automation Sciences Research Lab at UC Berkeley. This is a lab where we do research in all kinds of different robotics.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Schiff. I'm an electrical engineering and computer science PhD student here at UC Berkeley, and part of my thesis work is on respectful cameras. The whole point is that the cameras are already out there, but we want them to be respectful of people's privacy. But at the same time, it's a camera. You can still do all the things that you should be able to do with a camera.
The idea is that when you put on a hat like this, then the camera can detect and track this in real time. But if you're wearing the hat, then it basically obscures the face of whoever's wearing it. So I'm free to now walk around, and the camera can see what I'm doing, but it can't see who I am. The new ideas here is that we can track a marker, and if people are willing to wear the marker, then we can always know where their faces are. So people meet the system halfway.
And then what we do is we apply some advanced statistical learning algorithms to actually learn the color of the hat. So what that means is any time I'm given a new image, I can find colors that correspond to the hat, and I find groupings of those colors, and those correspond to the marker. And then I know that there's some location relative to that marker, and that's the place I want to obscure. In this example here, that the white dot is always below the yellow construct. We were experimenting with different things. We were putting different kinds of dots on people's faces, and I was like, where did I see that before? And I was like, Baldassari. So
So Baldessari is this brilliant artist who basically said, let's look at old photographs, but let's block you from being able to see the face, which is where you intuitively zero in. So by putting these very simple colored dots over that, he basically changed the whole structure of how you interact with a photograph.
I loved the fact that we sort of could draw on a lot of the things that Baldessari was trying to communicate through the dots. There's a lot of great parallels between that and the work that we're doing here. One of the main spearheads for the artistic movement is to make people think and to make people reflect on the world, society, etc.
So it's taken about a year in the laboratory. We've been tweaking, working out a number of bugs. And now we're at a point where we can put it out and let people experience it for themselves and see if it's helpful for the whole discussion about privacy. With a technology like this, you may be able to essentially be able to be watched what you're doing so your safety is protected, but your identity is preserved. And I think that may be a better trade-off for the future.